Great.
How are you?
Yes,
Very
fine.
good.
Wow. Oh, so
My
Carlos, can you introduce Carlos?
yes, well, I think Carlos should introduce himself. Let me first introduce you. Dr. Shahid is my friend who is the director of the Entrepreneurship Institute in Pakistan. We've been friends for many years. He's an expert in entrepreneurship, and he has developed very innovative the educational systems for young students of entrepreneurship in Pakistan. And we have collaborated in many occasions. So around the world. Uh, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I recovered the sound now. Okay. Carlos, would you like to introduce yourself? Given-
Wow,
Are you here?
this is a surprise. Just wanted
Of
to
course.
join your presentation. Well, my name
Right.
is Carlos Muñoz. I'm an industrial engineer for my background. And well, I worked in different companies for several years. And after that, for the last 10 years, I've been an entrepreneur, mainly in the health system. So I have a clinic, an ICU here in Chile, and we provide services for the NHS in Chile. I have a very good friend from Pakistan, so that's another reason for being here, classmate in MIT. So we have a good conversation. Thanks, Gonzalo, for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Shahid. You're the responsible for this
Uh,
venture. We are repeating it again after many years, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. After many,
yeah.
4 or 5 years, I think.
From the of the Would you like to make an introduction, or shall I just start? Uh,
Yes, please start, Gonzalez. Please
yeah.
start.
Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. So I'll share my screen. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Glorious past only. All right. So, well, the subject that we have discussed for today, for this of the speaker series, is to speak about effectuation and mind maps. So I will go straight into it. So we will be speaking how knowledge is passed, sorry, from entrepreneur to entrepreneur, and how uh, entrepreneur failure may become the entrepreneur's sustainable governance are our effectuation hero, okay, who will be joining us during this journey, okay? So this is Sarah Sarasvati, our common friend, who you may not know, Shahid, but she's been currently recommended for the Nobel Prize in Economics, given her contributions. Who was the mentee of Herb Simon, Nobel Prize in Economics, and also father of the cognitive psychology, one of the fathers of artificial intelligence, other amazing endeavors. Those are some of the books, taking entrepreneurship or with an effectuation perspective. And this is us with Sarah's in the Arctic Circle. Around 10 years ago, something like that. All right. So the five and Simon discovered taken them who have taken them into the stock market. So people who were really expert entrepreneurs and who had a mean of 7 entrepreneurial attempts on their life. So they were really, really expert. And those people think in a different way. And those are the 5 principles that I will be explaining. Those principles are the following. The first one, I would like to call it accept reality. And Sarah's call it the bird in hand principle. So instead of going for an ideal goal, experts and entrepreneurs start with what they have. So on that sense, they act here and now with what they have at hand. So do I know? And based on that, they start acting, goal, or they go and act on with whatever they have on the hand. It may be a cooking recipe. This is the case of a Chinese lady who created the first food company in China, who just knew how to prepare a soup, was the platform or springboard for her to start developing food. So she just started with the knowledge she had, and because she had to an electricity company in Bangladesh for poor people in rural villages, selling it prepaid and using the scrap of rice and other so to written stone, right? And think in inexhaustible means without letting yourself be limited by scarce resources. That's the first principle. So I invite you to reflect on your own resources, what you have at hand. It may be your experience, your life experiences, it may be your networks, it may be your passions or hobbies. Okay? This is the first principle. Let's move to the second one. Again, I bring the word reality into the table. Uh, when you have to decide different possibilities, what scientists tell us is that you decide in basis of what you are really prepared to lose. This is the affordable loss principle, okay? Instead of going for the expected return when there is uncertainty, you may decide based on what you can afford to lose. So you recognize your limits of time, other kind of resources ex ante, for instance, your cash burn rate, and then you forget the net present value, the internal rate of return, all that sort of usual indicators when you're really facing uncertainty. So the action questions are, what can you afford to lose in terms of cash, time, energy, and even reputation? You know some people that you may be allowed to make one phone call, but perhaps not two or three. So you decide if you're gonna cash your chip at this stage or not. So instead of focusing on what you might gain, you focus on on what you are prepared to lose. I hear that I have the case of another Chinese lady, Shang Jing, um, who who was working in an exporting company from China and used the $5,000 she had saved with her boyfriend to go to the US, to San Francisco, and find out what her clients in the US, the American importers did with the good to ship them to the US. So she went there, and her American counterpart told her that they used to throw away the boxes, those boxes that for her use them to box the she found herself with many boxes with lots of using this business model, she became the first woman to become the richest person in China. Before Jack Ma, of course, from Alibaba, naturally. Okay, so she used what she had and what she could lose, what she was prepared to lose, the $5,000. So that she went on her own. She didn't bring her boyfriend to the US. It was not honeymoon. It was a working trip, and it made her very, very. Our conviction is your openness and flexibility, supporting others to develop their own vision. So in that way, you start contributing with others. So for making people work on their own project and collaborating with you. This is the third principle, the crazy quilt principle. So instead of going for the classic competitive analysis that all of us who have learned is the interest of those people who will put skin on the game for you. So you can act as a convener of the situation. Ambiguity, you may avoid frontal goal conflict using interacting, even dancing with other stakeholders who will join you based on their own affordable loss, contributing with their own resources. So as you see, we go integrating the different principles. Trying to advance. No further. 1 second, please.
Yes, good, very good.
Okay, yeah, now it's working. Now it's working. Okay, so in case of extreme uncertainty, you may forget cost-benefit analysis and rival profiling, and you may start working in collaborations with others. This is, of course, the case of Muhammad Yunus with the Grameen Bank, who brought on board thousands of women, mostly through the Bank of the Poor, as they call it. Who are committed to transform the reality along you. So, in this case, you talk really willing to make real commitments and contribute to carrying out the project without worrying so much about the cost of opportunity or carrying out elaborate competitive analysis. The fourth principle is the lemon for lemonade. So in this case, you take contingencies and shocks as reality checks and feed forward. Again, the word reality. You start with what you really have. You decide based on what you are really prepared to lose. You collaborate with those who are prepared to transform reality. And then when an accident occurs, when there's a shock, when there's a contingency, we take it as a reality check, opportunities to move forward. Opportunities. On my own case, for instance, I've been working with Japanese clients, with clients in the Middle East and in other places, thanks to the pandemic, given that we are all of us on Zoom or Teams or Google Meet nowadays. So this contingency has brought new opportunities that were not available at that time. So uncertainty brings new opportunities. So contingency can be seen as a way of accommodating perceptions to inadequacies in data or in our great plans. Sometimes we have great plans, but contingency take us back to earth and let us see reality again as it is. So contingency brings new means, resources, and opportunities. Or you can create opportunities or co-create opportunities based on the contingencies that occur. Okay, this is the case of a student of Sarah's who wanted to create a renewable energy startup. But he couldn't find venture capitalists. I my interpretation of reality is that you act to transform your reality. And how can you do that? You take stock of what you can control instead of what you can predict. Remember, when there is a lot of uncertainty, you try to control what you want. Instead of taking the context as given, as we normally do in economics, you see the context as something that you may attempt to reshape, to reformulate in your favor. Let's look at the example of when you can use human capacity as the actual engine to transform reality of the world and create instead of discovering opportunities. Think, for instance, instead of thinking in social, technological, economic trend, think on fashion. It's impossible to predict fashion. It is a unknown future. It is completely unknowable. So what designers do? Well, designers control preferences for how can they say, based on what can they say animal print because of stable alliances with fashion leaders who may help you control up to some point the reality. So you can transform the reality in your favor. This is the fifth ambition is your openness and flexibility. More important than imposing your ideas is about encouraging others to contribute their own visions. The influencers help you, right, to build your common purpose. So this is the 5 principles. How this work all together in the following way. You start with the bird that you have in hand, right? I'm remembering now this beautiful story by a Persian poet about the birds, the the 1,000 bird or something like that. A very famous story. Well, you start with your bird in hand, what you have, okay? Your knowledge, your reputation, your network, your passion, your hobbies. You start considering what could I do with what I have. So you start considering a myriad of different goals. From them, from those potential goals, it's not the goals of what I need to know or what I should do. It's what can I do? What can I do about this? So it is a potential usage of the word. I could do this, that, and that. Okay. So how can I select among those possibilities based on the affordable loss? What am I prepared to lose? What amount of money do I have available? What time can I put on this adventure or venture? What contacts can I make to move forward? So based on that, you may reduce, you may focus on just some of those potential goals. You, you, you don't go for those activities that you don't have the resources. You just select those who are up your reach. Those you have you have available. I mean, sorry. Okay, and then with that you start interacting with us. Steve Jobs used to say, people never pick up the phone to make a call. And this is what I did. I pick up the phone. Okay, I will help you up to this point. I will contribute because what you're doing is interesting to me. Or if you make this or that change to your project. So like that, with commitments, you obtain new means. So there is on in that sense, right? On the other hand, when people start joining you, they also make you develop new goals. Perhaps they will not like your goal. They would propose doing another thing. So new goals start appearing. So this creates a restrictive process, right, or cycle. So you have an expansive and you have a restrictive process. And some now and then you have big surprises and you leverage the resources that those surprises bring on the table. And it's through the interaction on all of this that not only new products, but whole new markets, whole new institutions and firms appear into action for reality. So in that sense, effectuation consists of the 5 principles we have been using, principle and piloting plane, but a process using that. You may we are not solo entrepreneurs. We are not starting from scratch, but we are a large organization. We are a big corporations. We are an important institution or established company or something like that. So what I have found on my own research is that normally in large corporations, in established companies or institutions, start with bird in hand. They tend to start by the lemonade principle, by a contingency. You have a big trouble, you have a problem, you're facing a lot of uncertainty. You are scratching your nails against the door, and you're not getting further. You are clashing with a tree, whatever, right? So things are not happening as they should be happening because as humans, we're always trying to predict. So we become more open to possibilities, to chances of doing things in different ways. That's the moment when effectuation enters into the place. Effectuation becomes a way of moving away from our predictive mentality into a more controlling mentality. And as you cannot control on your own the world, you start trying to control the world with the help of other stakeholders. So you start co-creating new worlds with the people who are working with you. Those are the main principles that tend to work in effectuation. In that sense, effectuation is a mind set, is a mental logic to solve situations. And for large companies, is as your way to get in. One of my colleagues in Japan has been researching a case of Panasonic Corporation, and Panasonic Corporation couldn't go further with a project, so a new manager was engaged. This person was coming from the venture capital industry, had a lot of friends in that industry, and knew many different models. So this person began using other ways of making friends inside Panasonic, how teaching them running workshops, uh, innovation, innovation workshops for them. So this made him have many new friends. On the other hand, he told his boss, well, you should give me 100, whatever, right? Yens or whatever, or millions or whatever, for this project. Just give me the half of that, 50 million or whatever, instead of 100. So the boss was in shock. What are you saying? Yes, I don't need so much money. So like that, the boss became more relaxed. And becoming more relaxed, what happened was that he could work on his own at his own rhythm, in his own way, in a different way. So, and what the third principle that he applied was that he decided instead of going for the B2B, business to business market that is very demanding, this technology that is not a proven technology, and in the B2B market, you need to be perfect. The Japanese don't allow you to have one defect or one difficulty. He decided, let's start with the V2C, business to consumer market or segment. So like that, he won many new friends inside the company. He won more freedom to act. And he got also the chance of testing with a lower affordable laws, his new technology. And that made him the time, the possibility, and the means and resources to build a new entrepreneurial, intra-entrepreneurial business inside the Panasonic Corporation. So you may use this in different settings, in different ways. And this does not replace the traditional way we think. Because when there is a lot of certainty, when the present is like the past and it's like the future, no problem. You use all the traditional tools. But when there is uncertainty, when you don't know what you're doing, when you don't know what's going on, when when you're not allowed to know what will happen, you start using the 5 principles. You start what you have at hand. You select resources, your friendships, your networks. You start working with people and you start taking advantage of contingencies and trying to transform or control the reality instead of predicting. I would like to complement this with the second part of my talk, if you allow me. And here I will
Yes,
quote
sir. Yes, sir.
another great woman, Elinor Ostrom, was the first the Nobel Prize in economics. Okay, so Elinor Ostrom, an economist, found that in difficult situations, communities, people use the concept of intelligent altruism than the basic economic principle of egoism or selfishness of people. So she went to study what happened with natural resources when communities need to share those resources. There are resources that may be extinguished, that may disappear by the overuse, by a bad use of such them. So she found out how different communities in different parts of the world, they found out in creating trust in those local communities. And they started realizing, that normally when there is misinformation, mistrust arises. So you need to incorporate the possibility of transparency, within governance principles. Because when people know they can do, okay, so the communities have the chance to govern themselves. Another important principle was the principle of empowerment, that community can govern themselves in a sustainable, common way, solving big challenges, water, scarcity of resources, and pollution, and other. And communities without much expert knowledge may create very good institutions that capture the best of their own culture, their values, and their talents and knowledge, the legacy knowledge and talent. So people may use those principles that are really very compatible with effectuation. Sarah Sarasvati has written a paper for combining effectuation with the principle of for governing the commons. That is the name of the concept and the book one of the books of Elinor Ostrom. So the 8 principles that Elinor found for managing or governing the commons are a strong group identity and understanding the purpose. The purpose is to save energy, to save the water, to save the climate, whatever, right? Second, the community attempts to develop a fair distribution of costs and benefits. So the communities avoid some people capturing most of the benefits and pushing the cost into other people's hands. So there's a fair distribution. Third, they include people in a fair decision-making process. For instance, cooperatives. I work with many cooperatives in South America, and cooperatives are very inclusive, and they work very hard to make the decision-making fair. Okay, but they also are intelligent in terms of monitoring that people will behave according with what has been established, that people won't cheat, right? And if people cheat, look at this, at the image, they will have graduated sanctions for behaviors. So you may give a warn to some people on the first time. The second time, you may have a fine for the person. On the third level, you may say, okay, you are fired from the system. You're not anymore part of the community anymore. Sorry, you're not part of the community anymore. So graduated sanctions. 6, they realize that there may be conflict, a normal and legitimate conflict. So they find ways for conflict resolution to make them fair and fast. So often the justice themselves. So they may resolve the conflict in a speedy way, in an efficient way. And they also know, and this is the last principle, they are not alone in the world. So they need to establish appropriate relations with other groups, with government, with local authorities, and with other actors in that sense. Okay. So in that sense, the keys for governing the common resources, communities need to know their own limits, understand what are the resources, where they begin and where they end, and define the framework they need to rule. So what is the reality we need to govern? Second, they need to relay the individual interest to the collective well-being. So they work together, co-creating common goals, like in effectuation, right? So on the first hand, they find out what resources they have, then they understand what they may do about that. Third, they recognize that they are interdependent. What one does will affect other person. So they look at it from different sides and encouraging joint actions. They share a mental model. Because sharing a mental model of what is fair, how the world works, how we can work together, it helps people work together, inspired by common interest, right? And not just by individualism, right? they also develop strategies for shared actions because in interdependence, the choice of one affect the choices of other. So they need common guidelines to know them, to share them. And of course, that recognize that some people may act in an opportunistic way. Human beings were less opportunistic than what we think, but we still are somehow, we may act in an opportunistic way some now and then. So we need working mechanisms to make the action of the people visible. We need to detect the cheaters, and we need to develop reasonable sanction of opportunistic exploitation of one against the others. Another point is that communities solve problems at multiple levels, and they are very open to continuous learning, integrating new knowledge and information, and maintaining productive and constructive relations. And comes the principle of nested communities. Normally, those communities are nested around around resources of common use. They are also related to social and ecological systems. So they need to organize their governance power, decision-making powers in all levels to be able to solve those situations. So you combine those problems, those resources and capabilities, the effectuation principles with Ostrom principles, you can really make a big impact. What's the bonus to end and give you time to ask questions is to ask you, people, what is emerging today in your own communities? Pak, Pesh, Farhan Ki, Fisa, all the friends who are with us, Hafiz, Umer, Pak, Al-Mahad. What is emerging today in your community? Reflect about that. What certainties of the past you may leave aside because we're living time of uncertainties? Where and how and when can we open ourselves to uncertainty? Third, what transformations to our current reality do you feel necessary? And what can you do about that? And what epic stories are emerging? We know of great mathematicians, great philosophers, great thinkers, and doers in Pakistan. So I think those epic stories are engaging, are inspiring, and maybe the basis for acting here and now in an effectual way on an individual level, working with others, collaborating, or in community, using the Ostrom principles. So please reflect about what are the key attributes or the new ways of operating, functioning, or co-creating that are emerging around you. Can you be part of that? Can you collaborate with others? Can you engage others to come along with you? Those are questions, and I really thank you for your attention. I remain very open to your question, and there is my LinkedIn in case you want to stay in touch for the future. Thank you very much indeed. And
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Gonzalez. And these are young men and women across Pakistan who are engaged in this course. And there are people as old as Mr. Mukarram, who's like 80 years old, who's in the course. And there's a young friend, Hamad from Peshawar. He's like a young man. I have to reply to his answer. There are young men and women who have Miss Lady Fizza. She has a software house. software house after her graduation. She's working on that. We have this gentleman, Huzaifa, this bearded guy. His father is school teacher, and he wants to uh, he wants to educate people on effectuation and help them people fight poverty. So I wanted to show something about yourself. I couldn't because I was traveling on in the car. Just a minute. I wanted to show something about my friend, and then we will take some questions. So you can
Wonderful.
see how far Chile is. Huh? You can see Chile. Oh, look at this. How far away? And if you go to the next slide, let me go to the next slide. So Chile has, you see, various zones. We have the Great Far Zone, Northern Zone, Central. How much kilometers it is? How much kilometers it is?
5,000 kilometers from north to south. Is the longest strip of land, the longest country in the world. It's very
5,000 kilometers.
yeah, 5,000 kilometers are plus or minus, right?
There are some people from Cuba who has joined us. They can speak Spanish. You can say welcome, welcome in Spanish. So from Sancti Spiritus. Okay, next slide. This is the university where Professor Gonzalez is teaching. And
yes.
And this is some beautiful. Can you tell me what is this, Gonzalez, about Chile?
Yes, of course. Well, Chile has a very diverse kind of climate. We have some very tall mountains, and this is not like the Himalaya, but it's very tall, and we have very natural places around that. But also, we have perhaps it will be hard for you to believe it, but we have the driest desert on earth on northern Chile. And we have very green pastures. I think in your next picture, you have some of the green lands. Yes. And also, well, this is Easter Island. That is 5 hours, almost 5 hour flight from Santiago, the capital, almost into the Polynesia, where those giants of stone are there. The Rapa Nui is called. So it's a very diverse country, and I'm very glad that some of my friends from Asia are beginning to come nowadays to visit us some now and then. So you're very welcome to come
I
here.
know that there's some Pakistanis who are doing business in Santiago. So,
Yes.
the gentleman, Hamad Wakar, you can plan to go there, huh? One of my friend is saying in the group, it is one of the fastest more growing economy in South America. Is it, Gonzalez?
We have Chile as the top level of life in Latin America. Latin America is not rich, are not rich country, but Chile is the richest country nowadays per capita. We have had a very good economy. The last years have been more difficult because of political noise, let's say. Uh, but still, the level of life is quite good. That's why there's a lot of immigration from other Latin American
Oh,
countries, and
immigration is
there's a lot
big.
of opportunity. Yeah.
Look
Yes.
at see Nay. Look at see Nay is from Cuba. You can see her. She's a nearby country. Adeline, say hello.
Ah,
She's from.
hola.
She can speak Spanish. Say something in Spanish to each other. Hola.
Hola, un
Yeah,
gusto. Assalamu
yeah.
alaikum to all of you. Profesor Gonzalo,
Sí,
gracias.
You
muchas
know,
gracias a ti, Adilén.
I
Estoy
went to their
encantado.
university in Sancti Spiritus last year. I spent 10 days in Cuba.
Wow, wow, fantastic. I've never been to Cuba. I need to go to Cuba one day. I would love to go there. Cuban people, but I have
Yeah,
had
you're very
Cuban
welcome.
students. Yes, thank you.
Gonzalez,
I have had
Come together,
Cuban
please.
students. I have
Gonzalez,
a
that small
Cuban
baby,
doctorate. Sorry?
small baby listening to you. Atiku Rahman's son young boys listening to you? They're all people in the class. Oh, small
Yes.
baby.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I'm
What's
seeing him.
what's the time in Chile now? 10 a.m.
It's 10 in the morning.
Can you show something out of the window?
Yeah, sure. I can show you my garden.
Show your garden. Show us your
Uh,
garden in Chile, South
let me
America.
open the door.
Is that dekna? You want to see?
I will take you to my garden.
And show us your dog and cat. Do you have your cat?
No, no dog or cat. My wife, uh, she, she, she got upset with the children. This is the
Oh,
garden.
wow.
This is where we jump.
So you do some
This is
jumping here as well.
yes, yes. I love to jump. And my children love to jump as well. And this is we have beautiful garden here in the
Oh,
back.
wow.
Yes, yes. So
And
giving you a, a home tour.
oh, very
Uh,
good. So it's
yeah.
green. It's green, huh?
Yeah, it's very green. It's very we are it's the beginning of spring nowadays. So it's
Okay.
very green. It's becoming green, and it's our national um national party the next week. So everyone is ready to prepare
Celebrate.
barbecue and enjoy themselves and take time away.
So what
So
are
yes,
your sons doing now? So your sons, they have completed their
well,
education.
uh, those are the rooms of my children on
Oh,
the top.
upstairs. Okay.
One of them is working at home. He works in a fintech company. He's
Okay.
28 years old. Um, and the other one works in a family office, but today he's sick, so he's in bed. And my wife is away in a country house. So she knows the youngest one, who is 25, is sick. She will come back today. She went there for a few days. Is We have a house 1 hour from Santiago in the countryside.
Oh,
She
good.
loves gardening, as you may realize.
Oh,
Gardening is very
really
important.
beautiful. What
That's why
season
it's
it is? It is summer
hmm?
or what is the season? You have the same
Spring.
season?
Spring. We're just starting our springtime.
Springtime. Oh, it's
Yes,
springtime.
yes,
Oh,
springtime. So that's why it's becoming so green. You can see how the
ah.
the new leaves are there and that yeah. So
Have you
yeah, I
ever
give you a full tour.
visited India, Pakistan side?
Yes, I've been in Pakistan never, but I've been to India in I'd say 7 or 8 times. I've been running workshops for family business in India just before the pandemic for 4 years on a row. And the
Oh,
first time I went there was in 1993. So I've been to India many times, but Pakistan, I'm sorry. But my colleague and co-author of a book went to Pakistan to give a speech about our corporate governance book.
yeah.
You have been in India.
Yeah. We have one friend from India.
Ah,
Hi.
cool. Hello,
There are two
hello.
people from India actually.
Oh,
I'm
very
sitting.
good.
Very
I
good.
live in Germany, but from
Great.
India.
Very good.
So
Well, I'm so glad to hear of that there is good friendship between Pakistani and Indian people.
yeah, yeah.
That's hard.
So is it a bit cold here in Chile? Is it a bit cold?
Yes, the day is a bit cold. Yes, yes, it's a bit gray, but it will become very warm and nice. It will be time for how do you call those piece of paper that you make fly with the wind?
Kite.
Yes, kite. Exactly, exactly. It will be the time of kite for us. So
So what does your wife do? She's a housewife or she works?
she's a psychologist, and she
Ah,
worked for many years as a psychologist. But nowadays, oops, coming back to my video,
anybody has a question,
she's
you can ask.
working. Yeah, She's working with the land gardening mostly.
हाँ जी कोई सवाल सकता है भाई मेरी फ्लाइट है थोड़ी देर में who can take over as on my behalf
Yes, and look at this.
Yeah.
I've never been to Pakistan, but I have this.
Ah, wonderful.
I use it every day. Every
Every
day
day.
every day because I practice kung fu. And with this cold, as I am bald, I put this and I feel a little bit Pakistani.
Oh, wonderful.
Every day.
Every day. And
And I really love it. I think
Osman
I
Sahib,
bought
are
it
you taking some pictures? Okay. Osman Khalid, can you take some pictures of this cap? Great. And
nice if you can share them, Shahid, please. That
yes,
would be nice.
exactly. And share it back with in the group so that we can send it back to Professor Gonzalez. And Gonzalez, how many courses are you teaching now? You're still teaching in the university?
Yes, yes, it's my period of heavy teaching. I'm teaching this afternoon a course for board members, family board members. Yes,
So Professor Gonzalez is a teacher of family business and entrepreneurship. And if
exactly.
somebody has a question about family business, you have 5 minutes more, or is it over?
Yeah, 5 minutes because I have another class.
If anybody has a question about family business, you can ask. Otherwise, then we will close the meeting.
I have a question regarding product-based entrepreneurship or service-based entrepreneurship. Which model is more effective and better for anyone who's starting initially?
You have to repeat again, bit slow.
Yeah,
Sir,
slower, please.
I'm saying that there are two models basically. One is service-based and the other is product-based. Which one is better for any startup regarding the initial stage?
Let me ask. Let me explain. Gonzalez, she's a computer scientist. She says, shall I go for a product or shall I go for service-based opportunities? You understand?
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm sure you are the expert, and I am not an expert in product and service. We all know of software as a service, right? That is a big business model on that sense. And I think we shouldn't try to predict. Because you're trying to predict, will be this or that. That's prediction. But if you use the effectuation mindset, you say, okay, I am Fitza. That's the way to pronounce your name?
Pizza.
I am Fitza. I know about this. I have this network. I am inclined to product or or services or software is where I know the most, where I have more control. So I will start from there. Instead of trying to catch the wave or surfing the wave, you start by yourself. Right?
Great.
That would be my advice.
Start with the easy thing. Adeline, can you show some pictures of Cuba? Can you show through the window? We can want to see Cuba. Can you turn the camera? Is it possible?
Factory business administration, so I'm here. And yes, I would like to show something, but I know how precious is Professor Gonzalo's time. So I would like better if you allow me.
Yeah, you
if
can
you allow me, yes. I would like to share with you some reflections that I have taken some notes here about human reality. So what means to us your lesson from today? So I had a couple of things. It was a little bit difficult for me to understand about the effectuation principles. And the first was a crazy quote. And you said, don't overanalyze the situation. I would like to share with you all that this is a very Latin American culture way of conducting ourselves. So we are overthinking things. So, and it is not very good for this purpose. So, for this kind of mindset. And it is very difficult of how Muslims do it. So I guess one of the things is because of your religion. So your religion gives education, and that education gives faith, and so you're not trying to, you're like more oriented, more focused, and it is not what is happening in our culture. I don't know if Professor Gonzalo agrees with me regarding this.
Mm. Mm. Wow, it's a very powerful reflection. And it's true that there are cultural differences around the world. But on the other hand, just this meeting now, right, give us the sense that human nature trumps culture, is more powerful even than local, national, and even than the religious culture, because we are all human beings. And at the end, we can collaborate across the world, across religions, philosophies, and perceptions of the world. Because if we use the effectual principles, if you put what you can afford to lose, uh, you will not lose your religion because it's your faith, and that's very important, powerful. But you, of course, you may say, okay, I will spend this time with this person to see what we can do together. I will put this effort, and we will see what we can do. So you go step by step instead of creating a big vision, a big project. Instead of trying to say, okay, let's go for digital product as one of the questions on the chat, right? No, where am I? What do I know? What can I do? Wherever I am, right? So it's being a little bit about being humble, I would say. Humble in terms of recognizing our limits, and at the same time, feeling powerful in terms of harnessing our means, our passions, our knowledge, our wisdom. So I think it has a lot to do with trusting each other and trusting yourself as well.
Hello, Professor Gonzalez. I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, as we know that this is the age of AI, and we have some predictions that AI will progress soon in the coming future.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm a WordPress web developer. I develop websites, but in today's age, even AI, there we have come across some models that build websites, and they build very beautiful websites. Like, they're very modern website builders. So, like, how can I just protect my future in this domain? You can say, like, I'm a web developer, so I have a prediction that AI will replace my role in the coming future very soon. So how can I just make myself a bit like into the field and not become irreplaceable
Right.
staying
Very
in the
good.
field?
So this is the
Yeah.
last question.
Right. Yes, because I need to leave. But it's a wonderful question. Right. There are some things where you may not have certainty, but there are some things where some aspects, sorry, I mean, um, where you can have where prediction may be useful. We can see that AI is replacing software development, let's say, right? Or web page development, web development, let's say. So this is not uncertainty around that. You know that's happening. But on the other hand, you are some steps ahead in terms that you have your knowledge, you know people know you, you have some skills. So you may think, with what I have, how can I start pivoting myself into new directions,
Yes.
using what I have. So in that sense, of course, AI becomes a powerful tool. It's very useful, but the knowledge on how to use it, the talent on directing that on this or that direction is your own talent, your own skill. So in that sense, I would invite you to consider surfing the wave, let's say. If there is a certainty that this is happening, okay, how can you position yourself to take advantage of this contingency? It's a lemon for you. Take advantage of the lemon. What can I do? What can you do about that? I'm sure there's a lot of people like you at this stage who are asking this question, and those who are able to co-create using their own means will really take advantage of this contingency and become very, very successful. And it's not a prediction, it's an intuition based on life
Thank you,
knowledge.
sir.
Thank you very much, Gonzalez,
Thank
for
Good
your
luck.
time, and everybody enjoyed, and God bless you. As a Muslim, we pray a lot for our guests. We pray for you, your family, your health. May God bless you. And if there are many people, computer science, digital marketing people, they can provide very good services. If somebody, we will share our services which we can offer to the people of Chile. And if you can circulate there, and any people who wants to be connected, you can get us connected. I think we can
I
help.
will.
We can help the
Excellent.
people of Chile at a very good quality and at a very good price. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Excellent.
Say
A
my
big hug to all of you, and see you
and say
soon.
my regards to your
Bye-bye.
wife and
Thank you.
your wife
Thank you.
and your sons.
Listen.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Goodbye.
Well,
Bye-bye.
sir, thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.